everyone out there in the land of YouTube. This is Annette Dion with the Psychic News Network, and it is October 4th. It's Monday. It's the start of a big week. We have a new moon this week, and the new moon is in Libra because the new moon is always in the sign that we're in. So I just know that off the top of my head. Off to a good start. And there's so much in the news as usual. I'm going to kind of try to cover everything. So let's get to it, shall we? I hope you had a great weekend. I feel that astrologically we really have to take a lot of deep breaths right now because it's a little bit heavy. Here in the Northeast, we keep falling into these big troughs of damp, cloudy, cold, this time of year moldy weather, and it's been, you know, it can bring people down. So if you're going through that, know that astrologically and atmospherically and energetically and oh gosh, there's just a lot to balance right now. So we're in the sign of Libra, and the new moon's in Libra, and that's all about balance. The other thing we really have to do is balance our heads around the news. Some really not good things that are happening. We have to keep our heads on straight. I mean, if you watch the news, you're hearing a lot of like, we should be worried, this is dangerous, we should be worried, white supremacy and all that. And fear is not going to get us in a good place. And actually, I'm a person that when they say on the news, should we be worried about that? No, we shouldn't worry. We should pray and intend and do what we need to do as activists. We need to practice activism. So, don't get too freaked out. It's cooler heads prevail, right? Let's start with the infrastructure situation and the debt ceiling and all that money stuff. Now, I want to know that you're all clear that this infrastructure bill is paid for, particularly in large part, by asking the very, 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 very wealthy people if, you know, hey, do you mind paying taxes like the rest of us? Would that be okay? Do you know what? This isn't a monarchy. Nor is it a dictatorship. It's a democracy. And in a democracy, you know, the democracy was founded on the principle of us helping each other out. And that's why people are a lot discouraged right now, because we don't see a whole lot of that going on. And even members of the Democratic Party, two of them in particular, are making it impossible for us to move forward economically and in a humanitarian way. They're, you know, we'll get into Manchin Sinema and what the heck is going on in her head. We did read about that the other night. I'm not remembering exactly what was said, but we'll look at her again, and we'll also look at Manchin, and we will look at on another topic, Steve Bannon and his cohorts. If you want to see what evil looks like, you don't have to. But if you want to see a textbook definition, look at Steve Bannon's face. Look at 45's face. Look at Kevin McCarthy's face. Look at Mitch McConnell's face. I could go on. Matt Gaetz, Gomert. Giuliani's just a clown. But I mean, just go down the list. Mo Brooks. These are people that embody evil principles and violence. So those are the things that we know are going on. These people that are conniving and planning behind the scenes to take over the United States of America. Okay, there, I said it. Let's just look at what's going on. This is what's happening, especially this time period that we're in. What's going on? Like with the Pandora Papers, what's going on is all the corruption and all the malicious intent and all the violent intent is in our faces. And even, speaking of faces, Facebook today. I mean, if you really take a step back and you look at it, it's very interesting. Very interesting. In fact, right now on Monday evenings, I have a Facebook Live chat room prayer meeting. You can come anytime if you want. That I had to cancel later on in the day when I realized Facebook was down and it probably wasn't coming back anytime like real soon, or I just couldn't bank on it. So I just kind of canceled that and rescheduled it. If you want to come, it's tomorrow night. Provided Facebook is up and running. It is now. So Mercury retrograde, here we go. Things will not be unfolding as expected. Everybody must be on their toes. I'll say it again. Things will not be as we expect them to be. Everybody be on your toes. What I mean is expect the unexpected, personally and nationally and planetarily. There's a lot coming down the pike. And when I say pay attention, you might want to check my Church of Spirituality sermons. On Facebook, just go to Annette Dion, and if you go to my timeline, you'll see Church of Spirituality services with sermons about really what's going on right now and how to rise above it. I don't mean don't pay attention, I just mean be able to sustain your energy as we are going through these very big challenges where we have people in positions of power that want us to suffer. Remember, there was a book that came out, and I know it was mostly about 45, but it really is true. The cruelty is the point. And with Steve Bannon and his cohorts, the violence is the point. True domination is the point. So we have to just meditate, go to the higher power, visualize what you want to see happen, and call all your leaders, senators, congressmen, congresswomen, representatives, and tell them what you need. Tell them what you want. And if we all do that, that just feeds the energy of people being activists. And, you know, over the weekend, you might have seen already that I posted a short video of the rally in Boston. There were a couple of them, actually. I went to one, and Alana Presley, I think that's how you say her first name. She is a state rep, and Ed Markey was there, who's in the Biden administration now. Anyway, it was good to see representatives there supporting the cause. We need to fight for our human rights, and that includes women's rights, and that includes voting rights, and we have to do it consistently. So all of us that have been out of practice, I've been kind of in practice, I'm kind of an activist, but if you're not in practice, just get in practice. Just do the little things. I mean, it was a little thing to show up at a rally with signs, but you don't even have to have signs. I had signs, but, you know, just do what you can, because it's going to feel better to be involved. And I know there's a book that's just coming out about that kind of thing. I think it's called Think Again. I just saw it on the news, and I'm pretty sure that's the title. If it's not, I'll tell you tomorrow. I'm picking cards. What am I picking cards for? What do the guides want me to talk about? I can't pick. It's like, which one do I pick? Well, I was talking about Steve Bannon, so let's get that out of the way, because that's really dark. Well, he's a criminal, and he's committed crimes against America, and definitely should be in jail. So let's just look at that. Let's just see, is Steve Bannon going to be in jail? Why is justice taking so long? I heard another person say that Steve Bannon should be, you know, it was a psychic, and I don't remember who it was that saw Steve Bannon in jail. So we'll see what's going to happen with him. Oh, this is interesting, because I actually see people in positions of power taking him to task and abiding by the law. The Hierophant is the law. So, well, you know, cooler heads prevail, I might want to say, because it looks like, you know, this is strong energy. The Empress and the Emperor. Wow. Wow, so really strong judges and court and the laws and convention taking over. Wow, that's actually good, because that indicates to me, because the Hierophant indicates like religion and spirituality in a more conventional way. So I would say everybody pray conventionally. But it looks like Steve Bannon is going to be stopped. Gosh, let's hope that's true. Let me check the pendulum on that. Is Steve Bannon going to be stopped? I get a pretty strong yes on that. Okay, well, he's a very dangerous man. And we saw what happened on January 6th, and we saw what the plans were. It's all starting to come out. I told you it would make your hair curl. Yep. I told you it would make your hair curl, and if your hair is curly, it would make your hair straight. Being a psychic, it's disturbing. I mean, not to be a psychic, but just the darkness. I mean, I told you recently about, you know, having the vision of 45 talking to a dark entity, and I mean an entity. I mean, not visible, but hearing. Okay, so furthermore, okay, let's head down the road of the January 6th Commission and what's going to happen with that. January 6th Commission, what's going to happen? What can we expect coming up soon? I'm not really sure when we're going to hear from that commission, the January 6th Commission. I'm not sure when we're going to hear more news about that. So let's take a look. Yeah, I always seem to get the Two of Pentacles on that. They're balancing it out. The Magician, oh yeah, I have two cards of balance. So they have a pretty fair and balanced assessment of what went on January 6th. The Magician is like, the January 6th Commission has a lot up their sleeve. You know, pulling a rabbit out of a hat kind of energy. Like there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And they're actually, the evidence is all there. I feel like the January 6th Commission has the evidence all in front of them, and they're figuring out how to best position things for the most potent impact. If you're watching this channel and you're a fan of 45, you do not like this channel, because we saw what happened on January 6th with this violence and his 45 supporters. And I know I shouldn't have to say this, but it's very wrong to try to kill people. To say, I'm not even going to say it because it's so dark, but some of the things that were said by the insurrectionists. The January 6th Commission is going to get to the bottom of it. So I mean, they've already gotten to the bottom of it. That's the guidance that I get around that. The January 6th Commission has already gotten to the bottom of it. They already have everything that they need. So let's see what's going to happen next. Oh, I got 4 cards. Okay, the Devil is going to try to take control. The January 6th Commission, that's what this is about. They're going to come to an impasse. And it's really that everything is out in the open, and the devil is exposed, the demon is exposed, the evil is exposed. And then to negotiate what to do about it, I'm seeing a threat of violence. I don't mean to scare you, but I am seeing a threat of violence. But that's pretty much always there anyway. But the evil will be exposed. All the evidence will be there. This is the insurrectionists and the people that planned the January 6th. The people that plan to overthrow our government and to execute leaders. One of them, they plan to hang Mike Pence, and they plan to execute Nancy Pelosi, and they plan to execute AOC. I mean, they planned to murder people, okay? So it's very, 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 very dark, as we know. We'll get to something lighter in a minute. We just have to look at this. The devil will be exposed in the January 6th Commission reports. The Four of Swords, everything's going to be on the table, and it's going to be a matter of figuring out what to do about it, because it's very, 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 very bad. And the Three of Cups is the love of country that will emerge out of this. And the guides are giving me the image of the phoenix rising from the ashes. So that's That's grace, right? Okay, so let's pick one more about that. I put socks on today. Yes, I have socks on my feet, and I don't like to wear socks, but it's getting a little chilly. I always get warm when I do reading, so, okay, so the Princess of Swords is coming up. This is a rising of the Divine Feminine. And the Princess of Swords seems to indicate that it's the females on this, yeah, you know what, Liz Cheney. The female energy on the January 6th Commission, mostly, that's going to push this. It's that mama bear energy of we have to protect our children. We have to protect the next generations. So seeing, you know, the women's rights demonstrations really showed me, even though it could have been bigger, I think a lot of people stay away because of COVID, but people had masks on. People stay away because they think it won't do much good. But I do see the feminine rising, and the more women are losing their rights, the stronger and in greater numbers they'll show up. So I know I just took a little segue there, but I just feel like the January 6th Commission, it's the feminine energy that's going to have the most punch and the most impact. And it's just, you know, that, you know, the female protective energy, which men have it too, but women have it like a bit more because they you know, women mother the children. So speaking of mothering children, let's segue into what's going to happen with the abortion ban. The Supreme Court is back in session, and what's going to happen with that? With the bans on women's health care rights? I just can't imagine what would happen if there was a law telling men what they could do with their bodies. Let's just think about that. How would that go? I'm kind of feeling that they wouldn't like it very much. Oh, and see, what's happening right now is they're getting, I mean, the Greg Abbotts and the, you know, these Republican so-called leaders, I don't want to call them leaders. They're not really leaders. They're fascists. They're fascists. I just want to be clear. They're fascists. Abbott and, you know, DeSantis on a different topic of COVID, and, you know, he's horrible. We know they're horrible, right? What's interesting that's happening is they're really losing their popularity, but they feel like it doesn't matter. It's almost starting to feel like that's par for the course in their minds. Like, they don't care that the women demonstrated. They don't care that people don't like them. That's the kind of a sense that I get, which is really reeking of fascism. So it's getting clearer and clearer what's going on. So we're just asking about the abortion ban bill and what's going to happen with that. The women have the power. I'm getting two very strong women. This feels like legal action taken from women, and the Ace of Wands means the women win. I don't know how yet, but I see more demonstrations. I see more women's rights demonstrations. I see this as an ongoing thing. I see this as an ongoing thing. Now, I know that Abbott doesn't care if he's not popular, so this is what concerns me. These leaders, they're seeing the numbers drop, their polling numbers drop, and it doesn't faze them one bit. So let's see what they have up their sleeve that they're not even affected. They don't care if people don't like them. Does it actually make them feel more powerful if people don't like them? No, it's not that. No, it's not that. It doesn't, no, because, you know, we still do have voting, right? No, I feel like it's not that they want people to not like them. So let's take a look at voting rights. Because even though they're taking voting rights away, I can't even believe that's coming out of my mouth. Even though they're taking voting rights away in America, they still fear not being popular to some degree. I mean, I feel like it's not enough of a degree. It doesn't bother them as much as it should, which is why I'm questioning the voting rights restrictions. there, you know what, when the legal system finally picks up some steam, I mean, I have to look at, when you think about it, the whole, you know, reign of 45, there wasn't a justice system. That's, you know, duh. I hadn't really thought about how much they have to rebuild the justice system in the United States, especially in Washington. So what I see is these voting restrictions, even though some of them are in place, they've painted themselves into a corner. These Republicans have painted themselves into a corner with these voting restrictions. And it's they're really trying to balance, and it's like the unconstitutionality, for example, of taking away voting rights, but also taking away women's rights, it's like they're in a precarious place trying to keep this up. The emperor represents Biden. I feel like Biden's going to kind of have the final word on the voting rights situation. Not just him, but it looks like the male energy is going to step in and with the constitutionality, or lack thereof, of the voting rights situations. Well, I don't think it's going to stop people from voting. The only thing is that they're also passing laws that say if they don't like who gets elected, they can just throw out all the ballots. Remember Trump said, just get rid of the ballots. Just stop the count. I'm going to ask, do the people really have the power? Do the American people really have the power? I believe that we do, but let's get a little more guidance on that. Do we have the power to make things change? Yes, the power is in the numbers. The power is in the numbers. The power is in the numbers. And we didn't have violence at the women's protests. I didn't hear of any. Yes, the Nine of Pentacles indicates we have to look at what we have to work with. And if enough people jump on board, we can turn this country around. The Three of Wands is we have to make it inviting. Maybe we should add snacks at the women's protests. I wish that they had music. That's what I was looking for. So it does look like the people have the power. The Prince of Wands is we're gonna go back to the drawing board and rebuild from scratch in terms of, it's just like reboot our Constitution and reboot America. But we do have the power to turn around. These are positive cards. These aren't like the cards that I picked about the what the January 6th Commission is uncovering. All that evil. Oh my gosh. Love is more powerful than hate and violence and evil. Okay? Okay? You with me? Can I get a witness? All right. What next? You know, we do have to find ways to uplift, because when I think about what happened, separate topic, what happened and off the coast of California with that big giant oil spill, and I talked the other day about the 700 jumbo jet tonnage worth of garbage in the Pacific Ocean, and then there's the oil spill, and there's all the wildfires, and it's like, when do we finally get the message? And to think of that marine life. I'm going to ask the question is, are we going to be able to turn this around? Once again, I was just talking about voting rights with those cards, but are we going to be able to turn this around? And the guides just said infrastructure. The infrastructure bill will have funding for cleanups and for clean energy. So we really have to have that pass. All right, so I'm actually pulling cards about that oil spill. What we can expect to see. I mean, we shouldn't be like, oh, well, let's make sure we have Dawn dishwashing liquid, and let's promote Dawn dishwashing liquid that we can clean the oil off the birds that are dying from the oil spill. I mean, that when that happened off in the Gulf, I was mortified. Like, it's really come to this that we're just talking about, Oh, the birds, they have oil on them, so now we need to, let's use Dawn to clean the oil as if it was an incidental thing that happened. As if it was just normal. You know how birds, they get oil all over them and then they die because they can't fly and their feathers get, you know, the oils are too heavy, and you know. No, it was just like, really? We're gonna treat this like it's normal? 1 million species of plants and animals are extinct because of human activity, and we're heating up the planet. And we're okay. Shush, Annette. The death card. The death card means a couple of things here, because I'm talking about the oil spill off the coast of California over the weekend. I don't know what day it was. It's horrible. My niece just moved out there. I haven't talked to her, but this is the death of the animals and the birds, and we're not going to hear the whole story, because the whole story is going to get covered up, because guess what? Big oil has a lot of hush money. I wasn't going to say that. It just popped out. This is about the oil spill in California. And it indicates the end of this. But how? Well, it's going to add more fuel to the fire, so to speak. That's not literal. Six of Wands, more of a case for stopping our reliance on fossil fuels. It's freaking 2021. Why are we using fossil fuels from the dinosaurs, which is a finite resource anyway? This that I'm doing, I can broadcast around the world, and we can't find a solution to dirty fossil fuels. We're lining it up. We're lining up the solutions. This is the end. We cannot keep doing this. This is the death of the marine life in California. Not just California. This is happening in other places in the world. We don't hear about a lot of it. And lining it up for, you know, for a new beginning. Will it succeed? Well, we're going to have to raise the energy. Yes, we are. We're going to have to raise the energy. We're going to have to raise awareness and raise the energy. Now, there's a lot of people in the younger generations, like Greta Thunberg, for instance, that are not going to stand for it. I mean, that girl, she's still talking about it. And right now, she's just saying, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear about, oh, isn't that so good? Oh, we're so proud of you standing up for the planet. What good is that doing? Oh, you're so young and you're taking a stand. Good for you. That's not why Greta Thunberg is doing that. I don't think she's doing it for accolades. I can see how she'd get angry about that. I would. I know what that's like. When people are like, oh, it's so good that you're standing out here, you know, saving the environment. And I'm like, oh, that's not helping me. You know, you write some letters. Okay, then that makes a difference. I'm not standing out here for accolades like Greta Thunberg. That's how she feels. I don't blame her. So let's take a look at if we're going to have any action on, I call it the Green New Deal. All I mean is climate change and cleaning up this environment. We're the only species that pollutes the planet or the environment or the resources that we need to actually live. Oh, it's gonna get bad. But the world is going to be putting the pressure on. And it looks like the Nine of Pentacles looks like we will get the money. I've said all along that infrastructure bill will pass. I haven't said when. No, I have. I think the last time, yes, I said like the third week in October. I felt like the infrastructure bill was going to move forward. It was either that or the debt ceiling being raised. Which that needs to happen too. This is all connected. The infrastructure bill and raising the debt limit, which really only means the debt ceiling, which really means then the rich people have to pay taxes instead of building a spaceship for 10 minutes. Oh. It's a lot. This is, the three of swords is coming up, which means we are all heartbroken by what's going on. We are all heartbroken. We have to go easy on ourselves. This is terrible what's going on. It's really bad. However, let me just go to something positive because I'm done with the negative. I want everybody to recognize what I was saying the other day is that the more that the vibrational frequency of humanity is raising, the darker it gets. And I know that doesn't make sense, but bear with me. These Pandora Papers. The corruption that has been hidden for decades is now right in front of our faces. This is what I'm seeing with the January 6th Commission. The darkness that has been suppressed for decades, and the Pandora Papers about all the dark money. I have said before, you've heard me say it, I feel like there's a line connecting, like the line I was talking about that connects DeSatan and Abbott and the Kristi Noem, and like I was just and the Kevin McCarthy, it just feels like it's all the same. I see it like a line, like a pipeline connecting them all. So they're all these people are involved in dark money. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. This is my psychic impression. And it's coming out in these Pandora Papers. If you sat down and you wrote down how many things we know so much more about as of recently, this year has been like an expose of all the darkness. It was always there. It's just so the light has been shown on it. So then it's up to us to decide what to do about it. It's just really like the January 6th Commission to me feels like a microcosm of what's going on in the world. In the sense that it's right in front of us. We have all what we need to prosecute and for these indictments and everything and jail and all that. We have all that we need. We have everything that we need. What are we going to do with it? Are we really just not going to do anything about it and let it continue like this? This is the fork in the road where we're at as a civilization. We have a choice. Do we want to do our part to make sure that things go in a different direction? And I can do a reading on that too. But I really do believe that every one of us contributes to the collective energy. And for us as individuals, we have to stay positive and we have to promote peace. We have to stand for peace in some way. And I think the book Think Again that I just saw a short clip on the news about talks about that. How to be active, and I say it all the time. It feels better to participate. It does. It's inconvenient to go to a rally, but it feels better. Like after you come back, you're like, I'm glad I went. I'm glad I showed up. I'm just glad. I feel better about myself that I'm not just sitting around complaining and worrying. I went. So all the darkness is being exposed, and what we do with that exposure is up to us. Get some groups together. Come to the prayer meeting. Watch Church of Spirituality. I don't make any money off of this stuff. It's just a labor of love. My YouTube videos, though, I like to have people call me for a reading. And you have been, so great. Thanks. Let's see. Where are we at? So these Pandora Papers are exposing all this, okay? So now I think it's better to, this is called the law of contrast. I think it's better to know what the darkness is. Because it creates sort of like this pendulum effect where we see and we go, whoa! We really see what we're up against, and then we choose to work really hard for the light. So it's the law of contrast. All right, I'm looking at my list of questions. Let's see. All right, I had this question that I wrote. Are we just going to continually find out how bad the criminality and corruption are? This is a long one. And start to adjust to the new norm? That this is just the way things are now and there's nothing we can do about it? I wrote that question out. It's a long question. Basically, what I'm asking is, are we just going to is this just going to become our normalized way of being in terms of having domestic terrorists? And, you know, I won't go down the list because I feared that I've depressed you a little. I'm trying to give the light with the dark. I just want to see whether people are going to get numb to what's going on or whether we're going to make changes. I don't think so. The guides just said, as soon as I said that, the guide said, remember Black Lives Matter. Remember that. That was really pivotal in the sense. And, you know, that's still energy that's still in motion. As the global climate change demonstrations and rallies, you know, to do something about that. I feel like people are going to have enough. And, like, you know, during the Black Lives Matter movement, if you ever watched my videos, but I was on Facebook then, doing my PNN, I said that what gave me hope was the next generations. The sort of 17 to 25-year-old generations, a lot of that generation are really evolved souls. And they won't stand for what's going on. That's why I mentioned Greta Thunberg. Everything's falling apart. That's what I'm seeing. So we're not going to, the normalization, it's going to be things falling apart and not a good way. That's going to make us want to come together in a new way. And we're going to have structure. And I see a new beginning. And I'm not just saying that. I do see a new beginning. We're going to go through some scary stuff. But we're going to make it. We're going to make it, people. We're really going to make it. Annette said we're going to make it. That's what I'm here for, to tell you. We're going to make it. All right, where are we at with the debt ceiling? Okay, these Republicans are being contrary for only the reason that it makes them feel that they're evil. It makes them feel good about themselves. Oh, the guides just said wait till the January 6th commission gets moving. Because, gosh, they just showed me Kevin McCarthy with mud on his face. I don't know what that means. Okay, the way that these two things are connected is I know that we need to raise the debt ceiling, and I did see, backing up to the infrastructure bill. All right, this isn't about Republicans. I'll get to that. So Joe Manchin is going to be not blackmailed in terms of like voting for the infrastructure bill. Not blackmailed. Joe Manchin is going to be negotiating. The Democrats are going to negotiate with Joe Manchin. Just vote for it and then we won't hassle you about such and such. That's what I see. The debt ceiling. Okay, let me tell you what I'm getting about that. Republicans and the debt ceiling. That they'll raise the debt ceiling because it's like if they don't, they're going to look even worse in the face of the January 6th Commission evidence. I don't know, that's just what I got. And then I had to throw Manchin in there because I just feel like, entertainment purposes only with Joe Manchin, I feel like he's going to be exposed in a way like the Democrats are going to go, now Joe, you don't really want us to talk about this, or it's not blackmail, it's just suggested, it's not overt, it's like a wink wink, you know, we know what you've been doing, so you might want to make yourself look good. That's the sense that I get. Sinema is just a lost cause. I really feel like it's all about the money, it's all about the money, it's all about the money. She's like the rich, now she's like the rich girl in middle school who just wants to show off and show y'all how pretty she is. It's disgusting. And the guides just showed me crash and burn. Sinema, this is not going to bode well for her. John McCain's rolling over in his grave. We really need to have requirements for somebody to run for public office, that they know what the hell they're doing, that they know what the hell they're talking about, because she doesn't. And she's just being played like a puppet by big money. And it's infuriating, but it doesn't help us to get angry. Just pray for good things to happen. Okay, so I'm looking at the debt ceiling. And then I'll let you go because it's getting late. It's getting late. A lot of people mad at Sinema and Manchin. They actually do care somewhat how they look. The Republicans really don't. But you know what? These people are not really Democrats. Yeah, they're gonna. Remember, I said the other day that I saw AOC, Katie Porter, and Omar. I saw these 3 women read in Sinema the Riot Act, and I think I might have heard that on the news afterwards that they actually were. The strength card is coming, and the Democrats have the strength here. They will raise the debt ceiling. Yeah, they're gonna try to make it like. If the Republicans don't vote to raise the debt ceiling, they're gonna look so bad, and I don't know why that matters to them, because they're not really 100% sure. Thank God that they can take away voting rights. They're not really sure that they can pull it off. Just telling you. That's why the Democrats have to fight really hard. The Democrats have to play dirty. Not dirty like dishonest, but just dirty like if you do that, we're going to do this. That kind of thing. There's a price that they're going to have to pay if they keep this stuff up. All right, I think I just want to... I've asked this question before. I'm going to ask this question again. And just because they keep saying it in the news, whenever they say it in the news, I just do the big eye roll. Like, give me a break. Is 45 planning to run again? I get a big, like big red letters, N-O. We'll just look at a few cards for that, and then I'll let you go, and then I'll be back in a couple days. No, he doesn't have the money. 45 doesn't have the money, and he's got too many lawsuits against him to run for president of the United States. And it just, honestly, it makes me crazy to think that people would vote for somebody who tried to attack his own country. Who did attack his own country. There's a country star, speaking of country, there's a country music star, and I don't know his name, and I'm not even interested in knowing his name, who started this big to-do about Biden being the evil one, and he put shirts on his toddlers that said these bad things about Biden, and I'm thinking, what did he ever do to you? Yeah, that stuff makes me crazy. Anyway, no, it's too, 45's not running again. Because he's just got too many lawsuits. He's got too much against him, and he doesn't even have the physical stamina. Or the mental aptitude, the cognitive function. You know how he was always talking about Biden and his cognitive function? Biden's fine. The Ace of Wands is, no, I feel like, actually, I have a little optimism about, somebody else that's, I can't say respectable. And I don't want to look at 2024 anyway. It's just that people keep asking, is he going to run again? No. The answer is no. Okay. I don't want to be 45 minutes long here. So thank you for listening. It's AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. If you'd like to book a reading, send me an email. And Tarot at the Castle, Tarot reading at the Castle, Tarot class is still on. And if you want more information, email me AnnetteDion7@gmail.com, and I'll tell you how to jump in. We're up to class, I lost track. I think we're up to class 3 this week. Okay, namaste, be well, and thank you so much for your kind comments. Leave your questions if you have questions, and we'll get to them. Okay, bye.